Do you enjoy tales of underdogs defeating the odds and coming up on top? Stories of the little guy beating the evil oppressor to save the day? If yes, then you'd enjoy the story of the Guthrie Dawn Raid. Only this time, the underdog is none other than Muhammad Mahathir, former Malaysian Prime Minister and professional racist. This story takes us back to the early 1800s in Malaysia, an ex-British colony that had been independent for just over a couple of decades. Malaysia had a problem. Despite being politically free from British rule, much of its wealth, such as rubber and palm oil plantations, were owned by foreign corporations, and particularly Guthrie, a British company. PNB, a Malaysian state-owned investment company, held 25% of Guthrie's shares, but that was only enough to know what was going on in the company, and not to have a say in any of its decisions. To nationalistic Malaysian leaders such as Prime Minister Mahathir and his cabinet members, this was a thorn in their country's pride, a wound from colonial rule. So, they offered to buy more shares to have more control, but Guthrie simply refused, not wanting to let go of its wealth. With no more options left for them, Malaysian officials had to figure out a way to obtain the company to backdoor alternatives that were still legal. A strategy was devised after over a year of planning. They decided to take over Guthrie Corporation by conducting a raid in the London Stock Exchange. In the finance industry, a raid refers to when a company acquires another company by buying up majority of its stocks. This is exactly what PNB planned to do. But they couldn't finance the operation alone, so they enlisted the help of various state-owned institutions. PNB reached out to finance companies Pernas and ASNB, and Petronas, an oil company. Together, they garnered 1 billion Malaysian ringgit, or 784 million USD in today's money, and moved it into a Swiss bank account. That's probably enough money to convince Lee Chong-wei to play badminton again, despite his cancer diagnosis. With the money pulled in, all that was left was execution. It is going to be silent and swift. On September 7, 1981, brokers from Rowe and Pittman bought up smaller available shares of Guthrie on PNB's behalf. Surprisingly, even Adam Rothschild played a huge role in convincing major shareholders to sell. But of course, this came at a price. Just in 30 minutes, PNB had 42% of Guthrie's shares. Despite the initial success, it wasn't an entirely smooth operation due to Singapore's OCBC Bank refusing to sell its shares to PNB. PNB bypassed this by reaching out to Kuwait Investment Authority to buy their shares. Within hours, PNB became the biggest shareholder of Guthrie, sitting at 50.4%. Guthrie's chairman, Mark Gent, only caught wind of this through a radio broadcast. Before he could do anything, it was already too late. The British were unhappy about this, and this incident strained Anglo-Malay relations. But it's really nothing new, considering that Mahathir was never a fan of the British to begin with. Within months, PNB fully acquired Guthrie. Different Malaysian private corporations followed suit, and bought out their foreign counterparts. Guthrie under PNB expanded to different industries such as manufacturing and residential properties. Profits rose afterwards. It is safe to say that diversifying like this to different sectors paid off. In 2007, Guthrie was merged with Sime Darby, a Malaysian conglomerate. This left no trace of the former British corporation. The Guthrie Dawn Raid is a testament to what capital, wit, and a whole lot of resentment towards the British can achieve. It was the first major step in Malaysia's economic independence for decades to come. Key actors in the raid such as Prime Minister Mahathir, PNB Chairman Tun Ismail Ali, and PNB Chief Investment Officer Tan Sri Abdul Khalid Ibrahim remain well-respected figures in Malaysia. Moral of the story is, if you're going to rob someone, always rob someone rich. Barely anyone will feel sorry for them, and you'll be hailed as a hero.